what Facebook marketing can do for you. So, how you can drive traffic, promote offers using Facebook marketing. I'm going to introduce you a course about the power of Facebook marketing and how to use this. Facebook still be a very important social network, the first social network to consider, even if it changes the name to Meta, the company, but not the Facebook itself. So, go and watch this entire course about Facebook marketing.
Hi, my name's Alex Copeland and I work with Richard Fairburn and the Online Success Model team, and this is our course on Facebook marketing. Facebook is a traffic monster. As of 2018, it has over 1 billion daily active users. Now think about that. That many people using the same website day after day, and not only that, it's growing. And when they're on there, they stay on there. They look at page after page of content. In fact, Facebook has over 2 billion monthly active users, and 79% of Americans use Facebook. Now that's crazy in itself, but you've also got to remember that Facebook also owns Instagram, which is the next biggest percentage used site. Now back to some stats on Facebook. 53% use it several times a day, and 22% of the planet use it frequently. It really is massive. Now it is a massive traffic monster, and that means you just can't miss out on this and its marketing potential. In fact, 39% of users like or follow a Facebook page to receive a special offer, and 1/3, that's 32% of Facebook users engage with brands regularly. And one more stat that will blow your mind: 5 billion comments are left on Facebook pages monthly. Now all this is great, but how does this help us? Well, once people log into Facebook, they keep track of you and what you do and what you like. Now this is all perfectly legal and fine, because when you signed up for Facebook, you consented to a user license agreement, meaning that they can track all of this. They track every like, every comment, every time you share something, the pages you like, all of this is tracked. And by watching your behaviour, they can make educated guesses on what to show you, whether that be advertising or recommendations. Now this happens all over Facebook, all your groups you're in and what you do in them. And this is laser sharp targeting with amazing precision. But as great as this is, I have some bad news to report too. Far too many businesses still fail to leverage Facebook to its fullest potential. But you're in luck, because this training teaches you the best way to promote on Facebook and gives you step-by-step instructions on how to get involved in Facebook marketing with a higher than average chance of success. Hi, my name's Alex Copeland and I work with Richard Fairburn and the Online Success Model team, and this is our course on Facebook marketing. 10 common Facebook marketing mistakes. 10 very common marketing mistakes even promotion veterans commit on Facebook. It seems like even the very best of us are not immune to making these common mistakes. So it's a good idea, if you want to save a lot of time and effort and money at this point, to become aware of them. This will decrease the likelihood that you'll probably commit the same errors. So let's go through these 10 common Facebook marketing mistakes now. Starting off paid campaigns with a bang. Try a free campaign first to build up your audience organically and get some intelligence on what your customer base and consumer base is like. Then you should have the information you need to put together a proper paid marketing campaign. Start low and slow. Now the worst thing you can do is jump in with a massive budget and absolutely no clue how this works. The best way is to start low and slow and build up from there, and not waste all that money. Starting up a campaign with an immature page. Now if your page is really new or there's just really not much going on in that page yet, then you might want to hold off on doing a paid campaign. The thing is, you simply don't have enough target audience profile information to base a successful paid campaign on, so it's a waste of time. Using mass content posters with discovery tools. Now many marketers use some sort of one-size-fits-all mass promotion tool, and they go all over Facebook discovering all sorts of groups and pages, and then they use this tool to basically spam those areas. Now don't do this, because you're not doing your brand any favours whatsoever. All you're really doing is spamming these groups, and you're going to get a bad reputation for it. Not only that, but it's only a matter of time before you might even get banned. Promoting direct affiliate links or direct sales page links. Now, there's an old saying that you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make it drink. And the same thing's true here. You can get a lot of people on Facebook to click on a link, but don't expect them to all convert and make sales once they go to your affiliate sales page or straight to your sales page. But why not? Why won't people buy? After all, they did click on your ad. Well, the answer is that they haven't been properly qualified. In many cases, they will have just clicked that link out of curiosity or maybe even hit it by mistake. Whatever the case, it is not going to get you the sale. Posting direct links is not the way to go. You have to build up confidence, you have to build up rapport, you have to build up trust. Once you've done that and they click on your link, they're going there with the intention that they know and like you, and you're much more likely to get conversions. Pulling random content and curating it based solely on keywords. Now, you can't just be lazy and just set Facebook publication tools up to just put any and all content from Facebook that has something to do with your keywords and then just blast it out everywhere. This is just spamming, and why would you do that? You have to be very deliberate and careful regarding the kind of content, whether curated or not, that you associate with your brand. It's very easy to get a bad reputation. Rotating and republishing the same content over and over again. Have you ever gone on your Facebook page and it just seems like all the content got reposted over and over again, all within that very same day? Now, there is an idea behind this practice, and that's that the more a Facebook audience member sees your content, the more likely they'll click through, which in itself is kind of okay. But the fact is, if you do this and just regurgitate the content, it looks like you're just spamming your page fans. So don't be surprised if they get fed up with this and they unlike your page. Wholesale optimization of ads. Now, another common rookie mistake on Facebook involves paid ads. Now, if you go in and you see that one of your ads is simply not performing, then it's very, very tempting to just come up with a brand new ad set and just completely replace them. It's something that looks completely different, but when you do this, you don't know which part of the new ad is succeeding or failing. Because you've changed it all in one go, you're basically taking shots in the dark. Now, if your ad performance does improve, you have no idea what caused it. You have no idea what tweak it was that made it actually improve. You have to have something in place to be able to track what improvement causes what reaction. Ultimately, you need to see where the click-throughs and the conversion rates are coming from. And simply swapping out the entire ad set or the entire ad doesn't give you the information that you need to make these decisions. Copy and paste competitor ad strategy. Now, some marketers are so lazy that they would just look at their competitors and just copy all of their ads. Now, of course, they may not copy it word for word, but they still end up failing badly. How come though? Well, your competitors are going to have spent a tremendous amount of money and time optimizing their ads that are showing. The fact that they're showing as regular as they are means that those ads work. However, what you don't get is a competitive advantage by just copying them wholesale. You can't just copy someone's ads without knowing what you're doing. Thing is, it may only be a certain portion of your competitors' ads that truly deliver their results. And if you don't know what you're doing and you don't know what portion of ads are working for them and you can't tell why, then you're basically taking a wild stab at your ad design. You may be saying the wrong things at the right time, or you're saying the right things to the wrong people. Either way, you end up failing. Quitting with paid marketing too early. Now, many rookie Facebook marketers have a one-time, big-time mindset. They've heard how awesome and fantastic Facebook traffic is, so they put together some hard-earned money capital to run an ad campaign. Now, if that ad campaign doesn't perform according to what they thought it would, then they can be too quick to pull the plug on using Facebook ads altogether from that point on. Just because things don't work out that first time, it doesn't mean that you have to pull the plug on the whole thing. You could stop certain campaigns, start new ones, tweak ones, use the same overall budget and make modifications to your existing campaigns. Failing like a huge train wreck. Now, have you ever seen a slow motion train wreck? Now, it's quite sad because it's all too predictable, but you can't turn your head and look the other way. You want to know what's coming next. You know at the back of your head exactly what's going to happen, but it's so slow, so massive that you just can't help but look. While your Facebook marketing campaign can happen in much the same way. You might know that your campaign is failing, but you can't quite put your finger on the cause, so you just go through the motions like a deer with its eyes stuck in the headlights, and you just watch it crash and burn before you. Why not choose to learn how to fail quickly? It's an absolute definite fact that you're not going to make 100% of your shots. So the best thing to do is learn to live with this fact and learn to fail quickly using a tiny budget. This way you can run loads of different experiments, even though the vast majority of them might be failures. But that's okay, because you're only spending a fairly small amount of money figuring out the winning ones. Now these are the 10 most common mistakes, and now that you know them, you can imagine yourself being in situations where these are likely to happen. But now you know how to get out of them. You can spot them well in advance. Because you know these mistakes might happen, you can have a backup plan in place, should you find yourself committing any. Hi, my name's Alex Copeland, and I work with Richard Fairburn and the Online Success Model team, and this is our course on Facebook marketing. The 8 most effective ways to market on Facebook. Now let me make one thing very clear. There are so many ways to market on Facebook that we could be here for a long time. In fact, the only limit to how you can get people to your website and to learn about your brand or your cause is your imagination. As long as you can post a link to an outside site and you can use Facebook, then you can use it as a potential awesome traffic generator. The thing is, regardless of the huge amount of possibilities to market on Facebook, there are 8 that stand out in terms of efficiency, effectiveness, and return on investment. Now this is just a broad overview, and I'll be going into things in much more depth in the rest of this training. But here's the 8 points we're going to cover. Facebook page marketing. Facebook group marketing. Influencer page outreach. Paid page boost campaigns. Paid traffic campaigns. Paid lead generation campaigns. Facebook pixel retargeting campaign. How to optimize your Facebook ad campaigns. Now as you can see, these 8 are a nice mix of both free and paid promotion methods that you can use on Facebook. Hi, my name's Alex Copeland, and I work with Richard Fairburn and the Online Success Model team, and this is our course on Facebook marketing. Facebook page marketing. One of the most obvious ways to market on Facebook is to set up a fan page for your business, your brand, or your cause. Now Facebook actively promotes this feature of its website, but what it doesn't tell you is the fact that Facebook has been actively modifying its algorithm to the point that you're going to have very popular content for you to reach most of the people who have expressed interest in whatever it is you're promoting. Put simply, not all the people who liked your page will get to see your updates. In fact, in most cases, only a small fraction of those people will get to see them. Sadly, Facebook is actively working to limit the free traffic exposure you get. That is, until you can prove that your content is really popular with your page's fans. So here's some steps you should follow to market on Facebook to make this happen. Step 1. Find your competitors on Facebook. The first thing you need to do is to avoid reinventing the wheel. There's no need. You need to avoid trying to figure things out on a completely hit or miss basis. Instead, reverse engineer your competitors. Let them do your homework for you. But how do you do this? Simple. Just find them on Facebook and learn from what they're doing. Step 2. Get the industry standard look and then come up with your own take on it. Now every niche has an industry standard in terms of social media profiles, brand appearance and content strategy. The sooner you understand this, the sooner you will be able to achieve social media marketing success on Facebook. The longer it takes you to learn this, the longer you will struggle. What you need to understand is that your niche audience has become familiar with how certain brands and websites are positioned on social media. If they can't make heads or tails of your social media brand, then they may not like your page because it seems too weird to them and too far from the industry standard. Your job at this step is to figure out the industry standard look, content strategy, and other elements and come up with your own take. By using this as a basis, you're going to be recognised much easier by potential fans. Step 3. Reverse engineer your competitors' content strategy and curate. Now lots of business owners would post hot content on their social media accounts as well as on their blogs. But sadly, 9 times out of 10 the content goes nowhere. People don't click on it, they don't comment, they don't share it or otherwise engage. The reason for this is these publishers are basically gambling their content would resonate with the audience. Now this is something you don't want to do, so instead pay attention to what your competitors are doing and look for the patterns. If you notice that your competitors keep showing content regarding the same type of theme or topic, then they may be onto something. Otherwise, why would they waste all this time putting it out there? The effort and energy it takes to talk about the same stuff over and over doesn't make sense unless of course it connects to the audience at some level or another and produces results for them. But how do you verify this? Well, to do this you need to look at how many times that piece of content got shared or liked. That should give you some sort of proof that this content actually resonates with your target audience members. When you reverse engineer your competitors, you're essentially making a strategy to reach the same people that they're trying to reach. This is also true with content curation. This is when you take content that's been published by other people and you promote it on your own social media platform. Now this method creates a win-win situation because you aren't ripping off their content. You're copying the original content's link, you're including a short commentary and allowing people to click on the link. This means that they get traffic from it as well. Not only do the original publishers of the content get traffic, but they can also build credibility because you're showing the information to your audience, which is telling them that you think it's good. You're sharing something because your members will be interested in it, and this means that they will look at the original content maker as well. This also leaves the possibility that the people on their pages will like your page. Now once you've built up enough page likes, you can then start showing your own content, which leads to direct traffic to your website. Step 4. Finding the best performing and most popular type of content and scaling up. To do this, you should post content for a few weeks and then look at the content that got the most engagement. See what sort of materials get the most likes, shares and comments. Once you have this information, you can start to ignore the other types of content and focus on the ones that perform the best. This means you're not putting wasted effort into things that just don't work. For example, if you have a Facebook page all about dogs and you notice the content or articles on dog houses get the most shares, likes and comments, then you might want to eliminate most other types of content and focus on these doghouse ones, because those get the most love from your audience, so they deserve the most work. Step number 5. Coming up with your own version. Now you may well know what people like, but you should definitely come up with your own version of winning content. For example, if we talk about the dog houses again, we know they get a lot of love and they're very popular on your page. So you should come up with more articles around that topic. Now whereas before you were using someone else's articles, these are yours. So these articles can drive traffic directly to your blog or your online store. It's very important though that they have the same level of quality as your third-party content, or ideally even better. Pay attention to how your really popular content talks about the topic and adopt the same style, but deliver something that's that little bit more. Maybe you can offer longer information, or more up-to-date information. Or maybe add multimedia elements like videos and graphics. In a nutshell, you basically have to come up with content that blows away all the other content that you feature on your page. Step number 6. Promotions, photo tagging by your users. Now this is a free promotion technique where you tell your page fans that you're going to give them some sort of digital freebie. Maybe it's some sort of badge to say they joined in, maybe a mention in a post. Maybe you even give them a free ebook or some sort of free software. Whatever it may be that you're giving away, tell the people who like your page to tag their friends on photos you're going to post in order to get it. Now the photos you use must of course be relevant. They must draw attention to your brand, your website or your Facebook page. You're not just having them tag a random photo. This photo has to say something. It should be promotional in nature. The more photo tags you get, the more chance you will get a lot of new page likes and also clicks to your website from Facebook. Now the best news? You don't have to offer any money or cash incentive. In fact, studies have indicated that money offers aren't all that effective. It's almost like people don't believe they're going to get it. And it's much better to offer some sort of special graphic or digital gift like the ebook we mentioned, or maybe even a discount code, because people are happy to sign up for this online. Step 7. Promotions, comments by your users. Now this is kind of the same concept as step 6 with the photos, but instead of photo tagging, you get your friends to post comments. Now this also helps tremendously if you get them to tag friends in these comments as well. Now I'll leave it up to you on how to craft this, but obviously the more tags there are in the comments and the more engaging the comments, the more popular they will be. Step number 8. Call your users to action. If you've got people who've already liked your page, then post occasional reminders to them that they should invite their friends. This works because of the old adage, birds of a feather flock together. Seriously, the main reason why you're friends with people in the first place is because they show the same set of interests as you. People who share basically the same pool of interests tend to attract each other. Use this to your advantage by getting your page friends to invite their friends. Step number 9. Use insights to promote your page. As much as possible, I would suggest going through steps 1 to 8 and master all of these before going ahead with this step 9. That's because this one costs some money. In this one, we're going to use money to promote our page. Now, after a couple of months, you can use Facebook's very robust audience profiling system called Insights to promote your page. The reason to wait this time is because then you will know the right demographic and you will also know the right sort of posts and content to promote to get the best out of it. Step number 10. Boost your most popular content. You can use Facebook's audience lookalike system to find people who are not currently fans of your page. This feature is in Facebook's ad system, and it enables you to reach new audiences who show roughly the same interests as the people who have already demonstrated an interest in your page by liking it. Basically, using Facebook's very powerful interest targeting system in terms of demographics and interests will help you get new eyeballs to your page that are already interested in the sort of thing you have to offer. This can mean more likes, which can lead to more readers of your content, which in turn will lead to more clicks, more conversions. From this point, you can then run targeted ads. Hi, my name's Alex Copeland and I work with Richard Fairburn and the Online Success Model team, and this is our course on Facebook marketing. Facebook group marketing. One of the most powerful ways to market on Facebook is through its group feature. Considering what's been going on with Facebook's algorithm for its Facebook pages, it's a good idea to have your own Facebook group as a backup. Although Facebook has been cutting back on the organic traffic it sends to Facebook pages, it's still worth it to have a page because you get audience insights from it. Another big benefit of having a page is the fact that you can copy and paste content from your page to your group. Now the thing is, when people see your content in a group, yes, they see the content, but they also see a like button. And when they click that like button, you get a new Facebook page fan. The key benefit of having a Facebook group lies in the visibility it offers. Facebook has made it very clear that they are tweaking the Facebook page towards actual engagement. If people don't engage, they don't see your content. Now apparently right now Facebook groups are not as suppressed as Facebook pages in terms of visibility. Basically, you seem to reach more of your group members than with a page. Now the one problem with Facebook groups and visibility for a lot of people is that it depends on activity. If an individual group member is not all that active in your group, like maybe they're not commenting or liking, then they will not get as many notifications on the Facebook update section about your group than someone who is more active. This is a big drawback. The vast majority of people who join your Facebook group are not going to be that active. They're just going to lurk and read information. They're just there to look and sit back and check out what you have to offer. So what you need to do is promote your Facebook group and get people active. So here's how to promote your own Facebook group. Create your own groups after your pages mature. The first thing that you need to know is that you should put up your Facebook group only after your pages mature, as you'll want to know what your audience is on Facebook. Now that you have a page up, pay attention to the audience insights. The data set that you get from the analytic portion of your Facebook management dashboard lets you know who to target. Once you've got enough users, and this depends on your niche, you should then put up your group. Make your group as identical as possible to your page. For example, if you have a logo, use the same logo. If you've got some sort of motto, then put the same motto or slogan on it. The key here is to use your Facebook group as an extension of the brand that you are creating with your Facebook fan page. You also need to give them a reason to keep coming back to your group. This of course means original content or freshly curated content that you don't show on your Facebook fan page. You have to give people a reason for following you on as many different places on Facebook as possible. And the best way to do this is with premium content. Market to other groups. This is the most important part of Facebook group marketing, because if you were to just build your own group as an extra source of traffic for your page, you're probably not going to grow very much. You have to go and look at other groups which have already done a good job attracting the people that you want to attract. Go to these places and become a credible poster. This means that you should refrain from just dumping the same content that you have on your page to these groups. Instead, you should invest time in them and become an expert or authority. It doesn't take much. If you're the first person to always comment and your comments are always insightful, bring new information to the table, then people will sit up and pay attention. People can see that you're an asset to the community, you're helping out, and they're more likely to look at your shared content that obviously comes from your page. Now, once you've established this credibility, you can share your own page content. As I've mentioned, your own page content not only has content for your brand, but it's also got a like button. So this is another great way of getting page fans. Always engage with people. What you post when you reply to things might attract haters. They might be critics, but it doesn't matter, reply anyway. This conditions the mind of your readers that you are approachable and accessible and you actually want to help people out, no matter what the viewpoint is. If you just drop a link as a comment and take off immediately without any other reply, you're just a spammer. You're not helping, you're not a community member, so you're obviously not someone who is there to share your knowledge and bring value to their lives. My most important tip. After sharing high quality third-party content that you do not share to your page, in groups, pay close attention to your page's audience insight. Find your most popular piece of content and then look for third-party content that's similar to that and see if you get a lot of positive engagement when you share that material. If this works, then take content from your site that is along the same lines as the popular content on the Facebook groups you're in and use that to get even more page likes. Hi, my name's Alex Copeland and I work with Richard Fairburn and the Online Success Model team, and this is our course on Facebook marketing. Influencer page outreach. Influencer page outreach really boils down to creating allies. In your niche, you're sure to have competitors. However, some of these competitors are open to cooperating with you. Many may not even give you the time of day and answer you, but there are a few who would see the strategic advantage of teaming up instead of competing against each other. There are also other people on Facebook who have pages and they're not competitors with you at all. They may even have a lot of fans. So here's the best way to build alliances with influencers on Facebook. Step 1. Find your competitors. Now the first thing you need to do is to look at your notes when you reverse engineered your competitors earlier on. Now these people are in the same niche as you. After all, you studied them to get the industry standard content strategy, as well as their page layout and design for your own Facebook pages. Next, you should look for non-competitors who specialise in your niche. There should be quite a few of these around. Now, these are not people that are selling things or providing services. They're not competing for the same followers as you, but they do cater to the same audience as you do. Try to find as many of these as possible. Step number 2. Make sure you're engaging. Now, I know at this point it's very, very tempting to just go to a competitor's page, post a comment on one of their posts and drop a link in there. Get them to your page or your website. Sounds easy, right? And repeat this over and over. Well, let me tell you, if you do this, you're going to get banned ultimately, and whatever links you put up, they're going to get deleted. So it's a complete waste of time, so you shouldn't even think about it. You should never spam. You should always try and be engaging. To do this, first you need to share high quality content. It doesn't matter who wrote this, it doesn't have to be you. It doesn't matter where the content goes to or links to. But it is important that it provides maximum value to anybody that takes the time to read it. It has to be on point and make sense. It has to deal with a specific theme or topic that you know that this target audience member will be interested in. The next thing you need to do is engage with people in terms of answering their questions. Try to be a facilitator. Maybe try to mediate between people. Ultimately, you want to try and be the go-to source of information for the niche that you're in. For example, if people are talking about statistics, why not go to Google, find the statistics they're looking for and share them? Maybe they're looking for a video, some way to do something. Go to YouTube, search for the content, and then post it for them. The more you do this, the more people will pay attention to what you do. Because let's face it, in any kind of online group platform, there's only a very few people that actually produce any content at all, let alone high quality content. You could literally count them on the fingers of one hand, and everybody else is basically leeching and just using the content that these few people are sharing. They take and take information and only give from time to time, if at all. So be that expert, be that go-to resource. Now, another way you can engage is by asking the questions. Now, the questions shouldn't be really basic ones or dumb questions just for the sake of it. Instead, they should be deep, insightful questions, or at the very least, interesting. You can also ask questions that try to tie many issues together. Many people are concerned about many different issues, so by doing this, you cover a lot of bases at once. You should also try and give feedback to people's responses, but do this respectfully. You don't have to come off as a hater or somebody who's just plain negative all the time. Use constructive feedback. Remember, the name of the game here is to add value to the places that you're hanging out in. This means sharing information and enhancing information through proper questions and feedback. Step number 3. Become credible, then reach out. Now, if you do this right, at a certain point, people will start asking for you by name. They'll start trying to reach out to you via Messenger. That's when you know that you've become an asset to these groups. That's when you know that you're on people's radars and a go-to person. You're not just this person showing up every once in a while, dropping a link and disappearing. Instead, you're the person that keeps these groups together. This is when you reach out and try to engage with the group admin. Usually the best way to do this is when they engage with you first. Maybe they mention your name or write you a message on Messenger. Whatever the case may be, try to wait for them to reach out to you first, or wait until lots of other community members are reaching out to you before you reach out to them. But what are you going to reach out to them for? Well, there are many different opportunities. You could swap content with your page. Most page admins don't have a problem with this. You could also ask for a shout out. What a shout out is where basically the admin of the page that you're on will tell page fans to check out your page because your page is a friend of the page they run. You can go through some ideas regarding joint events. Now, obviously, we mean online events, not real life events. This can be things like a seminar, a live Facebook session conducted from 2 locations. It could be an interview. Another opportunity you could use is guest blogging. You probably don't need me to remind you of how value-packed this can be, as not only do you get people to look at your link, which can produce direct traffic, but you also get a tremendous search engine optimization benefit if your partner has a high-value blog. You could also reach out for infographics. This means you create an infographic and you give it to the admin to post. They post it with a link back to you. Finally, you can collaborate and create custom content intended for both your audiences. Whatever way you look at it, influencer page outreach is a very powerful way of using Facebook, and it's absolutely free. No, seriously, your only investment is your time. And what makes it so awesome is the fact that you are leveraging the hard-won credibility and authority of your partner. They've put in the work, they've put in the effort. They've developed a rapport and a solid brand with the people that follow them. So when they give you a shout out or you co-host an event with them, then they lend you some of their fame, which makes you credible. You're no longer some random stranger who came out of nowhere. Instead, people get the idea in their minds that when somebody they respect and admire recommends a new person, then they will give them a chance. Maybe this new person is also worthy of their admiration and respect. Building alliances with influential niche players is definitely worth doing. But do keep in mind that it does take some time to do properly. However, if you're really into your niche and you view your Facebook marketing business as a real business, then this shouldn't be a problem for you. Hi, my name's Alex Copeland and I work with Richard Fairburn and the Online Success Model team, and this is our course on Facebook marketing. Paid Page Boost Campaign. Another way you can get a lot of traffic on Facebook is by using a paid page boost. Basically, this is paying for the promotion of your page. Now, you need to understand that this is different from a page post boost because you're not promoting the content of your page, you're promoting the page itself. This is a fantastic way to get page likes and broaden the statistical demographics of your page. Why is it a big deal that you get a broad demographic of people truly interested in whatever you're promoting? Now, to understand this, you have to understand that Facebook works best when you target people by their interests. This is a bit tricky because unless your page is accurate as far as your niche is concerned and the people that like that sort of thing, you probably will have a faulty set of targeting parameters that aren't quite there when it comes to getting the interest of the people you're trying to reach. This is why it's crucial that your page gives a true and real snapshot of the interests as well as the demographic information of people who are actually interested in whatever you're promoting. Now this is hard to achieve if you're promoting your page organically and no other way. This is because you might not be putting in that much time in getting the word out about your page. Perhaps you're just sharing it on a couple of groups and they may not line up with your niche. This is why I suggest that at least at a minimal level, engage in some sort of paid page boost campaign. Now before you do this, make sure your page is mature enough, because otherwise you'll be launching it too early. So you should make sure that your page has been around for a long enough time for you to build up enough user insight, as well as see what the engagement levels are like. And that way you can accurately target the demographic with your ads. This is important because if you're going to pull this off, then your demographics will help you run a more successful campaign involving your content or your direct traffic campaigns. Now these are campaigns that direct traffic from Facebook straight to your target website. Now we're going to do this primarily using a lookalike audience campaign. Now make sure that you're ready for a sponsored page ad buy before you do this. You've got to make sure that your page looks good and that you're sending the right signals, both in terms of the graphics, the look, the text, or you will waste your money. So at the very least, make sure everything looks like it's ready to go. There has to be enough solid content on your page. This increases the likelihood that you'll get a bunch of decent page likes when they see it. Where does this all lead to? Well, as I mentioned, if you grow your page likes, you'll be able to target your intended audience much, much better. In addition to that, you may increase your reach, because the more people who like your page, the bigger your base of visibility becomes. If a lot of these people actively engage with your content because you're sharing the right stuff, then that percentage increases. But you're still dealing with the reality that you will only reach a fairly small percentage of people who have expressed interest in your content. Now, when you increase the total amount of likes you get, then you still have that same small percentage, but the initial numbers are bigger. 10% of 100 is definitely going to be smaller than 10% of 100,000. And I know which position I'd rather be in. That's why it's always a good idea to build up your page likes. The more likes you have, the more you can profile your users. And this higher level of profiling paired with a better content management and targeting on your part can lead to more visibility of your content. But how come? Well, it can increase because of higher engagement levels. If you pay attention to what kind of content people really like on your page and you produce more of that content and then fine tune it, tweak it, so people are even more likely to engage with it, this increases your organic reach. This makes your content more visible. What is engagement? Engagement is where people share your stuff. They can like it, they can comment on it, or whatever else it is you want them to do with it. The best way to do this is to have the right people attracted to your page by picking the right content for them to see and then like. Unfortunately, this doesn't happen overnight. It's not easy, as it's one of those things that you figure out on your own through your own trial and error, but you do have powerful tools at your disposal, like Facebook's Audience Insights, so you can see which content is resonating with your audience. But you can't just set this up and forget about it. You have to actively monitor it and look for patterns. A crucial ingredient to all of this is that your page gets enough likes, which is exactly what we've been talking about in this lesson. And that's why you have to promote it at some point. Hi, my name's Alex Copeland, and I work with Richard Fairburn and the Online Success Model team, and this is our course on Facebook marketing. Paid traffic campaigns. In this section, I'm going to be defining paid traffic campaigns in two different forms. Now, I can pay to boost the post, or I can pay for direct traffic to my target website. Please note that I'm presenting that information in that order deliberately. Boost posts first, and then pay for direct traffic. And there's a reason for this. The thing is, if you can't master Facebook's paid traffic to your page posts, then it doesn't make any sense to pay for it directly to your website, as you could end up spending a tremendous amount of money, time and effort and have very little to show for it if it doesn't go right. It's better to boost the post in a strategic way, that way you can understand what kind of content connects with your intended audience. Once you know this, then you can drive traffic to your website. Now you're actually covering several things at once by focusing on boosting a post. You can get more page likes, you can get more branding opportunities, and you can also get more click-throughs to your target website in the form of a content link. So here's how it works. Post boosts. First, target a lookalike audience based on your user insight demographic. You get this information from inside Facebook. To explain what this does, Facebook is going to show your ad to a fresh set of users. but it's going to do it in such a way that they share the same sort of details and interest as your current page fans. People with these similarities are much more likely to also like your content. Now, don't pay Facebook to show your post to the people who've already liked your page, because instead you want to get fresh people to your page posts. Existing audience post boosts. The next option you've got available to you is to boost your post to the people that have actually liked your page already. These are your actual page fans. They know what you're about, they know the sort of content you give out, and they liked it enough to like your page, so they're expecting this sort of content. So why would we target them? Well, unfortunately, like we said earlier, Facebook only shows your content to a small fraction of people who liked it. The only way to make sure they see it is to get your fans to click the see first option when they like your page, but not many people will know about this. Therefore, Facebook will use its natural algorithm to select the initial group of people that will be shown your page content. And if enough people engage with that, then Facebook will show it to more. However, it's never going to show it to 100% of your fans. That just doesn't happen. This is why it's a good idea to boost your post reach to the people who have liked your page. The upside to this is these are not new people visiting your page. In fact, they've seen it and liked it so much that they've clicked the like button and want to see more of it. So at least you know there's some interest there. But please understand that while there's a certain degree of familiarity there, and this increases the chance that these people will actually engage with your content and possibly click through, it isn't guaranteed. Existing audiences plus friends. There's an old saying that birds of a feather flock together, and likewise friends usually have shared interests. In fact, if you think about it, that's the main reason we make friends. It's because we have certain interests in common. We have certain things we like to talk about, and that's why we make friends. It makes sense. Well, you can apply this same logic to a Facebook marketing campaign as well, because this can produce a tremendous amount of marketing opportunities. Since your page fans also have friends on Facebook, you can buy your post boost that shows your ad not only to your fans, but to their friends as well. This is my favourite type of post boost because it's a cheap way of getting clicks to your target site to reach a much wider audience. Please understand that if your page has a fairly small number of likes, even if you boost post after post, you'll only have this very small base to work with. Now, if you expand that base by including your existing audience plus their friends, you now have a lot more people to work with. You can spend with a certain level of confidence because you know that their friends usually have shared interests and will be interested. This translates to possible cheap clicks to your target site. The best way to do this is to post a link directly to your content or your promotional page on your website that has some content. This way, when someone clicks through, they go straight to your website. They can read your text, but the text should call them to action. This is the cleanest way to get direct traffic cheaply using post boost targeting your existing audiences and their friends. Direct traffic to your target site. The next option is to promote a target URL directly. This doesn't show a post from your page, instead it goes directly to a target website and it goes along with a picture. This is a direct traffic option from Facebook, and to become successful with this you have to use the lookalike audience based on your engaged user insight data. In other words, your Facebook page should be mature enough, it should have been around long enough for you to get solid intelligence that you can then use to target potentially interested audiences on Facebook. This is the best way to do this, but there are other ways. You could run raw targeting. What this means is you're not relying on any user insight. Instead, you're just looking for age range in a geographic location. In certain situations, this may pay off. In fact, you may get better results than lookalike audiences, but generally speaking, you should focus on using the consumer intelligence your Facebook page gathered to target an audience very similar to people you know have demonstrated a solid interest in whatever you're promoting. Best practices. First, run small tests. This enables you to fail quickly. People who really know their way around Facebook run campaign after campaign after campaign until they're able to connect the dots and come up with one that actually works. This is why you need to run small, cheap tests so you can easily see which campaigns are working out and which ones have failed. Next, make sure your budget is low. A few dollars a day for 7 days a week is good enough to see if an ad has potential, so you can run several ads at once and not spend a fortune. Next, focus on what works. Now let me tell you, when you run many small tests, the winners will stand out. Either they get the clicks or they don't. That's the bottom line. However, at this stage, we are not just looking for clicks. You're not just looking for an ad campaign that gets a lot of attention. Instead, you're also going to be looking for an ad campaign that actually delivers conversions. You have to set up your Facebook pixel to your target website so you can track whether traffic from Facebook went all the way through whatever funnel you have in place. I'm not just talking about traffic produced when people click on your link and they go to a content page and then leave. That's worthless. That's not going to help you. That traffic has to go to the content page, then to the sales page, and eventually make it to the shopping cart or buy button. That's when you know your campaign actually has traction. Focus on what gets a high click-through rate compared with the conversion rate. However, to get there, you're going to have to burn through many different ads. This is not going to jump out at you. It's not going to be obvious. It is not going to be easy. But once you've identified that ad and you've fine-tuned it, you can scale it up. That's how this works. Hi, my name's Alex Copeland, and I work with Richard Fairburn and the Online Success Model team, and this is our course on Facebook marketing. Paid lead generation campaigns. Did you know that with Facebook you can collect email? That's right, you can actually collect leads from within Facebook. It's actually pretty straightforward. You just create campaigns with a lead collection button. It could be something like find out more, sign up, or some other language on it. But whatever it is, if you're running this type of campaign, it must be highly targeted. It's really important that your targeting is spot on. Now, I've put this type of Facebook marketing at this point in the list of the marketing methods because this takes quite a bit of work. You should be quite familiar with Facebook before you even try this. You need to know your way around Facebook ad system before you engage in paid lead generation because it can get quite expensive. If it doesn't get many clicks or it's super finely targeted, then you don't really have that many people to work with. And this can drive up your cost per lead. And you have to know how to optimize your ad campaigns on Facebook for this to make any sense at all. You can actually optimize on 3 different levels. Level 1. You can tweak the freebie that you're giving away. Now, by freebie, I mean the free stuff that you're giving away so that people are motivated enough to enter their email address into your capture form. Maybe you're giving away free membership access, or perhaps you're giving away a PDF or a book, or graphics, possibly even giving away software. Whatever the case may be, you are giving out freebies and you need to optimize these. What I mean by this is the freebie that you give must motivate the most people in your target audience to sign up to your mailing list, but this isn't as easy as it sounds. You can't assume that just because you think your book is awesome, that it automatically means people will agree with you. It doesn't work that way, unfortunately. You may have to switch from one freebie to the other until you get a high enough sign-up rate that you think that the freebie you've got is the right one. Thankfully, this is fairly easy to do with Facebook. All you basically do is run different ads that offer different freebies and see which ones convert the best. Level 2. Level 2 focuses on optimizing your ad copy. As I've mentioned before, lead generation campaigns on Facebook can and do get very expensive. It can seem like you're doing all this for just a handful of emails. That's why it's really important to make sure that you run a fully optimized campaign to get the most results. But how do you do this? Well, you need to optimize your ad copy on an elemental level. It's quite intensive, the amount of optimizing that you'll have to do. You can't just do things on a basic surface level. It's just not going to work. Level 3. Level 3 involves optimizing based on conversions. Now, when people click on your Learn More or Sign Up button, they're shown a form. Now you have to keep tweaking that form until it's got the best conversion rates possible. So you're converting as much of the traffic into list members as possible. Now this takes quite a bit of time and attention to detail, but it's worth it. Again, you have to run these experiments while minimizing your costs. So once you find something that works, optimize it to increase its level of conversion. Once you've got a winner that cannot be optimized any further in terms of conversions, then that's when you scale up. That's when you pour in the dollars to reach as many people as possible to boost your mailing list signups. Hi, my name's Alex Copeland and I work with Richard Fairburn and the Online Success Model team, and this is our course on Facebook marketing. Facebook pixel retargeting campaigns. Facebook enables you to put a tracking pixel on your website and track where people go on your site. If people end up on your shopping cart, for example, then you can start reminding people about your site or reminding them about the products they put in that cart, whatever the case may be. Facebook pixel retargeting gives you another bite at the apple. It gives you another chance to convert those visitors. Now, one of the biggest problems with e-commerce, for example, is that prospective buyers abandon their shopping carts. Now, a large chunk of these people simply decide at the last minute or at some point in the buying process to dump what they have in their cart. They don't follow through with the purchase, and this is where the retargeting campaign begins. It's basically a way of reminding people who have already expressed an interest in something to come back. Another benefit of this technology is it pulls traffic from Facebook even if the campaign wasn't to do with Facebook originally. For example, let's say you do a marketing campaign that's got nothing to do with Facebook, but you place your Facebook retargeting pixels on the pages. Now when people from this campaign visit, like somewhere from Google, etc., or another social media program, and then they go back onto Facebook to check their accounts, your ad is going to show up because you're retargeting them. Sounds awesome, right? Well, these are all possible through a Facebook pixel retargeting campaign. There are only 2 steps to it, and it's actually pretty simple. The first step that you need to do is to install the Facebook tracking pixel on your site. To do this, go to the Facebook's business section and look for the pixel instructions. It's pretty straightforward and they explain it very well. Now, even if you're using WordPress as your content management system, installing the pixel is a breeze. The next step you need to take is sending traffic to your site. This means that you have to let traffic flow to your site for quite some time before you launch a retargeting campaign. This is because it needs to get the information. It's not a good idea to start a campaign too quickly. You have to have enough targeting pixels stored on people's browsers for this to work properly and make sense. Otherwise, there's just not enough to work with. Now keep in mind that if you're in a niche that has generally low traffic levels, then you may have to run a campaign even though the overall traffic to your website is fairly small. Run ads on Facebook for retargeting. The ads that you run for a Facebook pixel retargeting campaign are going to be a little bit different from the normal boosted posts that you run on Facebook. Instead, these are going to try to achieve 2 things. You can remind people about what they did, that they wanted to buy something but they changed their mind. Perhaps they were reading some content and they were about to enter their email address but they just didn't. Whatever the case may be, you're reminding them to come back to what they were doing before. The other thing that you can do with your Facebook pixel retargeting campaign is to pull people deeper into your website. Now usually a website is composed of 2 kind of levels. The first level is the content, where you are trying to get people to know about the problem, get them to like your particular solution, and eventually trust that solution so they can buy from you. The other level is pretty straightforward. It's all about the buying. But there's a complication. A lot of people will go through the content level, but they may never make it through to the actual buying part and never make it to your conversion page. This is where retargeting ads really come into their own to pull people deeper into your website, and it makes a lot of sense to use this type of ad. Now, if for whatever reason someone reads an article on your site, decides to close it down and leave, you can run ads that tell them about even more content, a piece related to the content they were reading maybe. This pushes them further towards your conversion. Alternatively, you can run an ad that promotes your actual conversion page. So basically what you're saying to the prospect is, okay, you've figured out what my website is about, you have a clear understanding of what I have to offer. But now I'm going to show you the conversion page again. Maximizing your results from Facebook pixel retargeting. I suggest that if you're going to maximize results that you get from retargeting, you should promote a squeeze page. By promoting this page, you will get people on your mailing list. Now, a squeeze page normally has some sort of ebook or other offer that you're giving away to people in exchange for their email address. Whatever you're offering, you should push the squeeze page with your retargeting campaigns. Don't just dump them directly onto your sales page unless, as I've said before, they actually reached your shopping cart or your conversion page and changed their minds at the last minute. If this is the case, then it's fine to do this, because this is the only situation where you're retargeting showing an ad that goes directly to the conversion page. But other than this, convert them to a sign up for your mailing list. The reason to do this is your mailing list has many more chances of getting attention, building trust and gaining credibility, which will in the long run do the heavy lifting as far as converting prospects into an actual sale. Hi, my name's Alex Copeland and I work with Richard Fairburn and the Online Success Model team, and this is our course on Facebook marketing. How to optimize your Facebook ad campaigns. Follow the steps in this tutorial so you don't overthink things and make better decisions with optimizing your Facebook ads. Reverse engineer your competitors and come up with the standard model. If you've got a personal account on Facebook, find your competitors and like their pages. And before you know it, you'll start seeing ads either from those competitors themselves or from businesses that are very similar to them. Pay close attention to these and reverse engineer them to find the standard model for these ads. In other words, you need to go through as many of these ads as possible and get a clear understanding of what kind of pictures, headlines and text they use. As you look at these, you're going to see common patterns. Focus on the most commonly used strategies because this gives you the industry standard model. Don't get sidetracked by ads that seem so different, so new, or so innovative, because chances are they're so different from the industry standard model that they aren't actually working very well. They're not converting. Once you've got this industry standard model, you can come up with your own versions and test it with a low budget. Test with a low budget. You don't want to burn through a tremendous amount of cash during the testing process. There will be a time and place for you to get crazy with that budget, but now is not that time. Create variations and test. Now that you've come up with your own version of the standard model, create variations of it and then run low budget tests. Do not do this randomly. Do not do this based on your feelings or impulses. Instead, you have to follow certain rules on how to create variations. Otherwise, you just won't know what part of the ad accounts for its greater success. I've seen this happen multiple times. In fact, I've committed this mistake myself. I would take an ad and test it. I would notice it wasn't getting that many clicks, so I'd change half of the ad. Maybe change the picture and the headline, or maybe the headline and the description. Whatever the case, I would change at least half of it. And sure enough, it would improve. But when I try to improve things again by changing the other half of it, it all falls apart. This is because you need to establish a way of effectively tracking which changes accounted for which improvements. By using this method, you can optimize parts that work to reach peak convertibility and then work on the other elements of the ad. However, you have to do this in a systematic way. Pick a winner and make further variations. Now that you have made variations of the original and you've run tests, there will be at least one winner that gets the most clicks and conversions. So now you make variations of that and run the test again. It's actually pretty straightforward. You keep making variations and you keep testing on the cheap and then find an ad that delivers the best ROI. In other words, it delivers the most conversions while costing very little money. This might seem quite difficult right now, but it really is doable with testing. Scale up. Increase your ad budget to your winning ad to pump a massive amount of traffic to it. You should only do this when you are dead sure that you've got a winning ad on your hands. In other words, you've tested it rigorously and you've optimized it to the point that it cannot improve its conversion rate any further. Now you're ready to really push the budget on that one. Make sure you optimize at an elemental level. The big problem with the ad optimization method I described above is how do you know which change got you the best optimization? Wholesale variations just don't work. You can't just take an ad, see it doesn't work, replace it with a completely different ad, see that doesn't work, and then repeat that process. Even if you're spending very little money each time, it still burns a tremendous amount of time, effort, and opportunities. We need a better way to do this. And the better way is to vary it on an element by element basis. To do this, I would take an ad and I would restrict my optimization to a specific element of that ad. Every ad actually has many elements. There's the graphics, the heading, the description, and the link. So I would start with one element and I would come up with different versions. Now the most obvious part is the picture. So I'd play around with different pictures and see which one gives me the most clicks. Then I would come up with a variation of the picture and see if I could improve my click-through rate even more. Again, I'm spending very little money each time. I just want to see an improvement in click-through rate for that element that I'm varying. Now once I've reached a level that doesn't seem to be able to improve anymore, then I would move on to another element. Let's say I was running an ad campaign for dog food and I noticed that my best performing picture after a series of variations was a picture of a dog that seemed to be smiling. I would keep that picture, but then I would switch to the next element of the ad, which in this case is the headline. I would then keep varying the headline to see if I could improve the conversion rate. Once I'd reached the ceiling of the improvements in conversion due to the headline changes, I would then move to the description, and so on and so on. You see how this works? If you keep picking the winning variation each time before moving on, you can see where it is working and where it isn't. You do this with small tests until the whole ad is optimized. After you've been through every element and they've all been optimized, you've got an ad that is converting much better than its original. Now is the time to scale up. This is when I put quite a large amount of cash into my Facebook ad campaigns to boost traffic on that winning advert. Conclusion. Now I hope you enjoyed this course, and Facebook marketing can be a lot of fun because there's a lot of things to discover. But it can also get very expensive if you don't know what you're doing. Now using all of the proven promotion methods we've covered in this training means you can start your Facebook promotion campaigns with the best chance of success. I really hope you enjoyed this course, And on behalf of myself, Alex Copeland, Richard Fairburn, and the Online Success Model team, we hope you take this information and take action.
I hope you enjoyed this course, and if you want to learn more and in depth about how to market your products or affiliate products and start your online business, go to the link johnbiani.com and enroll in the 15-day challenge and subscribe to the channel, of course.